Yes.
In the meeting. Public utility. Great, so this is the Budget and Finance Committee meeting of October 3rd, City of Gloucester, and we are here in person at the City Hall Conference Room on the first floor of City Hall, as well as being online by Zoom. My name is Scott Memhard. I'm the Ward 1 City Councilor and BNF Chair. With me is Councilor at Large Tony Gross, Vice Chair, and Councilor at Large Jeff Wordley. And as well, we have city staff, City Clerk Grace Poirier, Kenny Costa, City Auditor, Connor McCorkle, CFO, and is Nancy Pappas, the helm of our
Chief Assessor.
assessing department. Yes. So welcome. And do we have, it looks like Chelsea Goldstein is with us online. And whom else do we have?
David Tucker is joining me as well, one of my colleagues from the prevention team.
Excellent. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to go through items in their order on our agenda tonight. And the first would be a memorandum from our city clerk and a 2025 SBT number 3, that's a special budgetary transfer, requesting the transfer of funds in order to pay for workers to staff the early voting period of Monday, October 21st, 2024 through Friday, November 1st,
We
2024.
also have Chief, oh, go ahead.
And this is the amount of $2,160. You had someone else join us?
Yes, we have Chief Conley.
Chief Conley, yes, excellent, good. So, Grace, you'd like to speak to this? It seems pretty straightforward.
It is. It's the same as what was described for the state primary. We're going to be paying our early voting staff. At that period, we transferred from our permanent part-time position that we have not filled yet. So we're taking the funds from that and transferring it to this account so that I can pay staff. That worked well in September. It was helpful to have a crew that came in consistently and I could get them trained and required a little less. Obviously they get trained, but then they know what they're doing and I don't have to keep on going and training a new crew every 4 hours. So it was helpful.
Excellent. Any councilor questions? Councilor Worthing.
So the vote will be yes for me. Actually, the only question I want to ask is, this money's coming from the fund that's going to be used to pay for the permanent part-time position you're saying? And you haven't filled it yet. If we fill it, or if you fill it, then where's that money come from?
That position, I don't think will be filled within this period. So hopefully in December or January, I can get someone. But at this point, the staff in our office is just too overwhelmed with election stuff to be able to take the time to look for a part-time position on top of looking for a full-time position. And I think we'll have enough funds once the new year comes. So.
Finding good help takes time, and you need help too, so, thank you.
This is, we are saving the money today for that salary. So this is in lieu of, not in addition to.
Oh, no, I'm saying that when we do hire someone, like if she's.
No,
I
the
know
money,
it-
but that money
Yeah.
will be, from that point forward, will still, this is not touching that money. This is, we haven't had it staffed, so
What
now,
we've saved on not paying someone.
right, and so
Okay.
that's how this is getting
just more
funded,
general
through the,
question
through the
about-
savings.
Yeah, it's
being
more a
funded
general
through
question, like, if we hired, where you're at in the process, you hiring someone next week, you'd be like, okay. we need to
Right,
do
no,
something,
no,
but- Got it, I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
So I'll go ahead and make a recommendation to move that the city council approve special budgetary transfer 2025 SBT 3. This is in the amount of $2,160 the city clerk wages hourly permanent account number as noted, to the registration purchase of services account number as noted. And this is for the purpose of funding early voting workers to staff the early voting period of Monday, Monday, October 21st, 2024 through Friday, November 1st, 2024. And I so move.
Second,
Motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion?
did you need a dollar amount in that motion?
I think I said it in the first line,
2960?
$2,160.
I missed it, sorry.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
And blessings to our voting process ahead.
Good luck.
Getting close. Nancy, you're up next in terms of having a memorandum from our city principal assessor regarding tax classification, a familiar topic.
Yes,
Right,
so I had sent a memo to the mayor in September, basically indicating what I thought was the most reasonable date that the public hearing could be held, which is November 12th, with the budget and finance the preceding Thursday, which would be the 7th. As you know, the timing is dependent on getting approvals from the Department of Revenue. At this point, finalized values have not been submitted. That typically happens in mid-October. And then it's a bit of a waiting game to see when those approvals come. They are also down a field advisor this year from retirement, which they have a hiring freeze. So there's one less person reviewing information at the state level, which, we'll see how that plays out, but that's basically why I don't think anything earlier than this would be, reasonable.
So November 12th.
Yes.
Further proof that the ordinance that we have that requires this decision made before election day is never applicable. It's not even viable to be able to do that. I'd like to get that changed someday, but anyway.
It's very difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
it is with the amount of work that has to get done
Yeah.
for the
And
submittal
it's not
for
in
a
your
city.
control. The state.
Right, and so things have changed since that ordinance has been placed, like.
So there's no motion offered. This is for information only, but I appreciate it
Information.
very much. Thank you, and we'll look forward to that.
You're welcome. Nice to
update
see
and
everyone.
process. Yes, nice to see
You too, thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
So item number 3 is memorandum from our CFO, Connor Corporal, the 2025 supplemental appropriation number 2 for additional work on the sidewalks and walkways outside of the Gloucester Police Department on Main Street. This is in the amount of $300,000.
So this request is to make the entry to the police station ADA required, ADA compliant. It's to make it safer to come in and out because it's a bit dark there now. The bricks are all the same color, which makes the steps a bit of a tripping hazard. And it's to make the entryway reflective of the great work that we've done inside the building. It was not included in the original scope of the loan order, so it kind of exists outside. And rather than amend that loan order, we're requesting to use capital stabilization funds on this work.
Councilor, questions?
Seems like it's necessary.
I was gonna ask you how much more this will cost taxpayers per year, but it won't, because it's coming from stabilization.
Right, we're trying to keep that debt service down.
And I don't know if this in any way factors into our ability long-term to build the court for improvements the city's invested in, to make the courthouse top-notch and first class in terms of the investment made, but it'd be a shame not to address the ADA and the sidewalk and the access that to the beautiful improvements that are being made.
Scott, I think that's a great point, because if you think about the people who use that building in terms of the public, right? It's probably more used by people who go to court, right? Not including our officers, but like going in and out. It's probably the court. So you almost want to say, ADA compliant is for them too, right? Those rules are part of the court. So it's a good point, Scott.
It may be immaterial in the big scheme of things, like, because of the negotiations that have taken place and, but I mean, the main goal is for the court to come back to Gloucester and provide them a long-term home. So people within the community have access to those services.
And none of this would preclude the potential possibility of a parking garage next to the police station, right?
No, this, yeah, it's just
Steps.
those bricks
Yeah.
are ready to go and they are tripping hazards. It's just, they're gonna switch it over to concrete. Be a little bit more.
I know Mike prefers concrete than brick, fortunately, for better or worse.
And I know some of the, there's like etched seashells and things. They're not touching any of that. So it's really just the utility of the stairs.
Councilor Gross?
No,
If there are no further questions, I would recommend that the council approve a supplemental appropriation 2025 S82 in the amount of $300,000 from the Capital Project Stabilization Fund, undisputed fund balance account number as noted, Capital Project Stabilization Fund, Police Station and Courthouse Infrastructure paving, account number as noted, and this is for the purpose of additional paving and walkway work in the area of the police station and courthouse on Main Street, and I so move.
Second.
Further discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And here we're spending a little more money. Item number 4 before us tonight is a memorandum from our CFO and a 2025 supplemental appropriation to allow the DPW to replace inoperable vehicles in the amount of $600,000. And the floor is yours again.
So this is.
You're Mike tonight.
Yeah, our fleet is in dire need of replacement. We have staff that are carpooling in the mornings to locations. It's not an efficient way for them to get where they need to be. We don't want to take on more debt service similar to with the police station. So this is a way for us to have a stopgap, replace the vehicles that are either not in service at all or desperately need to be out of service, and to do that without borrowing. We want to use the capital stabilization for.
Councilor, questions?
I did request a list, and there's several vehicles here that are, over 10 years and 15, 16, 17 years old that, and I'm not just talking a few, there's several. And so this is just going to be a partial on this, even though it seems like it's a big amount of money, this is just gonna be a partial on this.
Do we have a sort of an inventory, which I think you might be talking about, but do we have a sort of schedule of replacing? I think the Capital Improvement Advisory Board used to keep track of some of these things and say, okay, in 5 years, we're going to replace this one, 6 years, replace that. Do we have that process in place with any staff or agencies?
So we do a fleet schedule every year with the insurance company. So we do keep a list, of at least what we have on the road currently. I don't know if in the fixed asset process, you do
Yeah.
anything in your office?
Yeah, we have a fixed asset list, but we don't, there's no schedule as far as, replacement, like what's coming off and what will be purchased new. We don't have anything like
Yeah,
that in our office.
on
Be
this
helpful.
list, it
Yes,
has,
if we could.
on this list, it has a federal government, GSA replacement recommendation, and then an APWA, do you know what that is? APWA is? Replacement age, and federal government's 3 years, and APWA is 5.
American Public Works Administration.
Probably, yeah.
Some,
Something like that,
yeah,
yeah.
some association or
Yeah.
something.
And, so we're, almost every vehicle we have is,
Way past due date.
way past,
Is there ever,
seven. Yeah,
is there ever consideration for leasing?
I know they lease some of the police department vehicles. I don't know about the DPW vehicle. It looks like they've always purchased them outright.
Some they have
They do
leased,
lease.
like, I think like some of the bigger equipment.
I
Like
just,
the
I know
back.
nothing about equipment
They
and
did
technology.
lease. I think they did lease for a while, and it turned out to be not a
More
savings, yeah.
Just the maintenance and the wear and tear.
Well, yeah, probably the back charge,
Yep.
when you turn it back in on the lease.
And my last question, and this is probably a Mike question, but do we have a mechanic on staff? I know the fire department has had one for years, but do we have one in the, I think it should be Smitty's, I don't remember his name was, but he's passed away. Do we have someone who?
I believe they do, but I don't know that.
We have to follow up from Mike to confirm
Yeah.
that. My recollection also is that Mike has worked with an aging schedule of the
I know
DPW
something.
department vehicles.
I think he has software, actually, now I think more about it. I think he has software that tracks.
And they're implementing a new one now.
Yes.
So we would just ask for a follow-up, just to update from Mike's point of view of what that kind of aging inventory list is, and also whether we have in-house maintenance or whether they're subbed out to a contractor.
I think it'll serve Mike as well, for our purposes, if we know there's big capital projects coming down the road for, you know, they're not surprises, it's sort of part of the schedule, that makes it a little easier on our side to see it as, you know.
And maybe,
expectation.
I don't know if it was included in the budget, well, you know, vehicles. You know, in the capital. You have to go back and look at the budget book.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, capital this year, we pulled out, put in ARPA to relieve some of the budget. And we were hoping ARPA could do more of the fleet, and just.
Funny how that works.
I'm good.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend that the city council, that the Budget and Finance Committee recommend the city council approve a supplemental appropriation 2025 SA number 3 in the amount of $600,000 from the Capital Project Stabilization Fund, undesignated fund balance, account number is noted, to the Capital Project Stabilization Fund DPW vehicles, account number as noted. This is for the purchase of various replacement vehicles for the city's fleet, and I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item before us is a memorandum from the Regional Prevention Director requesting our acceptance of a STOP STOP Act grant through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration in the amount of $240,000. And I believe the floor is yours. Kelsey?
Great, thanks so much. Yes, David Tucker, my colleague, and I are here to request the Budget and Finance Committee's recommendation to City Council to accept this STOP Act grant, which aims to prevent youth alcohol use in the city of Gloucester. We aim to do that by engaging parents and youth in the process of going through the strategic prevention framework, which is a public health framework that is evidence-based and allows us to look at data and create informed plans and strategies that target youth alcohol use with the goal of reducing substance use rates among our teenage population.
Thank you. Councilor, questions?
I'm just really thrilled that, you know, so much attention gets paid to the opioid problem and stuff, but we, you know, this is probably a far more serious kind of less spoken about issue for our youth, and I think I'm really, really glad that this is coming, this money's coming forward for this purpose. It's really gonna, hopefully, it'll make a difference. And, you know, because it's, you know, alcohol can be the gateway drug. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really grateful to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration for granting us or accepting our application for this grant. And we're grateful to David Tucker here with me on the call, who coordinates our Gloucester Youth Leadership Council for our middle and high school students, which is going to be a main vehicle for initiating strategies that are youth-led and targeted at youth.
Chelsea did a lot of amazing work. In fact, she wrote the grant application, which was amazing. And it's crazy the fact that we've gotten this. This will be our second time getting the STOP Act, correct?
Yes, we had it back in like 2017, around that time.
It's very rare. So it's awesome.
David, would you just speak to your sense of this program and the interaction with the city's youth that you are directly related in?
Yeah, so I, of course, as stated, run 3 youth groups, one being regional, which is across all of our prevention communities, and then the 2 local ones being a high school youth group that is very passionate about vaping and any substance misuse. And then the high school group is really passionate about drinking and driving, as well as drinking like over the broad scale of any drinking that is underage, because it's not okay. And they see their peers do it and they have some great ideas. We're going to open up the conversation next Wednesday at our next meeting and see what the topic they want to really hit on is. we all know it happens. Youth drink underage and just want to be able to combat it and prevent it.
Thank you for your work, and it's great that this funding has come through, as you say, for a subsequent year, so we can carry on this work. We'll look forward to your updates and reporting.
Yeah,
Other
definitely.
council questions?
So, of course, as always, Chelsea and David, great work again. Chelsea, I
you.
give you a lot of credit. I think that, I don't know if we have a grants writer, but for a staff person to do all you do and still write a grant and accomplish it, that's meaningful. Thank you. Davis, far be it for me to correct you. I think when you said that the teen youth group is passionate about vaping and passionate about drinking and driving, I think you meant passionate about stopping vaping and stopping drinking and driving, right? It's probably.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That's what like Vice President Walls said the other
Right.
night about,
Just, you know, we don't want kids who are passionate about vaping to be kind of communicating. We have $250,000, $40,000 to continue our passion for vaping. So anyway, you guys are doing great work. I wondered real quickly, is there a match requirement? I didn't see that in the package. Just wanted to double check.
There's no match requirement on this grant.
excellent.
And then, does this money, once it's received, does it have a certain period of time it needs to be spent and allocated? I just want to really understand and learn how that works and if you could.
Yeah, yes, good question. So it's a 4-year grant. It's a total of $240,000 allocated each year with $60,000 per year. So the grant period follows the federal fiscal calendar. So it's October 1st through September 30th. And the funds are expected to be spent within that grant year. I actually think there's some opportunity for rollover funds if there are any unspent funds to be able to carry them forward to the new year, but we do intend to spend that $60,000 in full within the grant year.
And then your office, would you have full discretion on how to spend that money within the guidelines of this grant? Or do you need to get, like, how does that work in terms of spending the $60,000 per year? Do you hire
Sure.
someone?
It's a budget.
Sorry,
They have the budget right
It's a
in
budget.
in our packet.
I'm sorry. Okay, since you already answered it in the packet, I won't make you do that again.
I'll just say, yes, it's within the confines, there's very clear guidelines of how these funds can be spent, and the proposal we put forth that's outlined in the budget was accepted by SAMHSA, the funder. So we are expected to adhere to the proposal that was accepted. We have monthly meetings with our program manager through SAMHSA, and we review our plans, our initiatives, and we can ask questions. They can course correct us if needed. We very much do all of this in partnership with our community partners, including the Gloucester Public Schools, the Gloucester Police Department, and really youth and parents. So we really value community input on how these initiatives should move forward and make sure that we're doing so in a culturally competent way, which is a requirement of the grant as well. So we do ultimately have the decision of how the funds are spent, but we do so with a lot of community input and grantor input.
Excellent.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you
David.
very, very much. Any other questions or discussion?
No.
I would move to recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee recommend to the City Council that we accept the Mass General Law 4453A, a federal grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, to implement community-led interventions to prevent underage alcohol use among youths aged 12 to 20 in Gloucester's STOP Stop Act program. It's a 4-year grant with an annual award amount of $60,000 and a total grant award of $240,000. And the time period for expenditure will be in effect from September 30th, 2024 through September 29th, 2028, and I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you again very much, Chelsea.
Thank you, guys. Great
And David.
job.
Thank you so much, guys.
Good work. Are you gonna be at city council next week?
Yeah, we can be.
And not hurt, you might have some questions from counselors.
That'd be good advocacy for
Yeah,
your work.
it's also good exposure. Yeah.
We'll be there.
Item number,
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
thank you, David. Item number 6 on our agenda this evening is a memorandum from the DPW Finance Manager requesting payment of fiscal year 2024 invoices with fiscal year 2025 funds in the amount of $1,585.12. And this relates to Napa Auto Parts. I don't know if there's anything you can add to that, or?
No, I spoke with Lauren, the DPW finance manager this morning. It was just a timing, which happens this time of year. So it's June services received, the invoice received in July.
And I just want to add, annually, I meet with the DPW finance manager and we go over every single purchase order. And at times there are late invoices that do come in, and even in July that are recognized, and we do make adjustments at the end of the fiscal year. That's something that has been happening over a decade, that I've been working with them. So these things happen, but I want you to know there is an effort that is made. And if Connor wants to join me in these annual meetings, he's more than happy. Last year, John joined me in that meeting. But I want the committee to know that annually I meet with DPW finance manager to go over the purchase orders to ensure that all the POs that can cover all the invoices that come in the next year. So I just want to make you aware, there is an effort that is made, but there's, as you know, there's always a few that-
Understood.
that come in.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have two questions, but I'm not gonna, I think I've asked before, just correct me if I have. We are never not gonna pay a bill, right? We're never gonna say that we incurred this expense and we're not gonna pay it. Period. And we can't control always when people bill us. Like, I understand purchase orders and the effort in advance, but there's just some, I think we had one last month where, maybe 2 months ago, we were saying, we were asking them for the bill, and, you can't control how efficient every company is. Is it a city ordinance or state law that requires this committee to authorize? It's your,
No,
oh,
so
sorry.
I can answer the
Yes,
question.
please, yes.
Yeah, so
And the goal is,
Yeah.
if there's a way, like, there's a certain number where they over $1 million, yeah, we need to talk about it, maybe 50,000, I don't know the numbers, but these kind of things, I'm not complaining about extra time, but it's staff time, it's just, sorry, I just want to make sure you understood the point.
yes, no, so as it's referenced in the motion, it is state law. So that's, and plus this is general fund or the enterprise funds. So this is really to let the committee know, I know it's only $1,500, but in the future it could be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So there is budget implications. So that's why I think that's why I believe that's why the law is there. So the committee is aware. So if it is a higher dollar, but there is no dollar threshold. So if you'd like to talk to state legislators and you'd like to put an amount, I can't change the law. So there is no dollar amount. But I think the reason why the law is there is to notify the committee that, here are monies from the previous year that may not have been budgeted in 25. So, this account could be short at the end of the year. So I think that's the reason why.
Or in
The law.
towns, they have to go before a town meeting to get this approved.
So I do understand it, there's just a point
It's the
where
law
we
that
can't,
says you
but
can't.
if it was $1, we'd have to do the
Still
same
have-
process.
Yes.
And I love it from an accountability standpoint, but it's like, well,
It's the law.
what's the cost?
That's it.
Thanks.
I
I'm not
got
gonna
the
ask
same
you-
thing about donations. People have said to me, what's the threshold on donations? There is no threshold. So even if it's $1, it's supposed to come before, the committee to the city
Exactly.
council. So I'd love to see thresholds if that's,
But it's not within our jurisdiction, local.
no,
Okay.
it's a state law.
If I ever ask that question again, just someone say state law, and I won't bother asking it, because I'm thinking there's maybe a local ordinance we could change to fix this, but
No.
I get
I
it.
mean, the only thing
Mass
there is,
General Law, chapter 44, section 64.
I mean, there is a little bit
That's
more
good.
flexibility,
Well,
but
right here.
Well, that you, yeah, okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and move that the Budget and Finance Committee recommends to our city council, in accordance with Mass General Law 44, paragraph 64, approve a payment of prior year invoices from the Cape Ann Truck and Auto Supply Inc., NAPA, Napa Auto Supply, Parts, Main Street, Gloucester, purchasing various automobile equipment parts and supplies in June of 2024. And this is for the purpose of paying various invoices as outlined by the DPW Financial Manager in a memo dated August 5th, 2024, for invoices dated June 24 to be paid June 2024, to be paid with fiscal year 2025 general fund, DPW budgeted funds for a total of $1,585.12. And I so move.
Second,
These were all, paid. These were all these purchases were in the last few days of June.
Yeah,
Their
Not a big deal.
invoices. Yeah, so they wouldn't have come in anyway.
all those in favor?
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So Chief Connolly, you're up next for the next two items. Number 7, requesting acceptance of a fiscal year 2025 state 911 EMD grant in the amount of $38,889.56. And then a subsequent 911 support initiative grant also in the amount of $102,983. And the floor is yours.
I'm on the road.
We
Just
hear you
driving
loud and
back to
clear.
now.
We hear you loud and clear, Ed.
So I wish something more
We lost you.
We hear you loud and intermittently.
for you, but I'm sure you're very familiar with these two grants. They come every SAP, our dispatch center, as a way to offset some of the costs. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep,
Can you hear me now, Con?
we can hear you.
We got you, Ed. Keep going.
Anybody else want to take it away?
The reoccurring grant.
The reoccurring
each year.
grant.
Yeah.
Liz?
he doesn't, no, we can't hear him right now.
Yeah, we can't hear
Okay.
you.
I think I'm back.
Sounds good.
You must be in Lanesville.
No.
Back
he's
on now.
or something.
We're having trouble hearing a clear voice from you, Ed, but.
How about now?
Yeah,
Yeah. Nope.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Not that commercial.
Well,
So these are
Also-
person.
Oh, I think I'm back on now.
You are.
Okay. As you know, Murphy's Law is a real thing. The moment my agenda item came up, I'm on the one known dead area in Linfield as I'm cutting through.
You planned it that way, Ed.
I'm through it now, so I should be good. So this is our routine state grant that helps offset the cost of our dispatch training. The EMD is the emergency medical dispatch, which all of our officers are required to do continuing education credits every year, and this grant pays for that. And then the second one also pays for their dispatch training that they're required to do every year. The grant is awarded by the state because we run a primary dispatch center. And there's no match.
sounds good.
I just wanted to add, so this EMD grant, we've been receiving it since fiscal year 11. I have all the awards going back to 11.
It's a very significant amount over time.
Yeah.
Are there any questions for Chief Connolly while he's able to hear us?
Nope. We're good.
I think we're good, Ed. We're going to approve both of
Perfect.
these motions as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, councilors. I appreciate it, and have a good night.
You too.
So the first, item number 7, I would move to recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee recommends to the City Council to accept under Mass General Law 4453A a state grant from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, a fiscal year 2025 State 911 Department and Emergency Medical Dispatch Grant Program for $38,889.56. The grant period is from September 17th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, and there is no local match for this grant. I so move.
Second,
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And secondly, number 8, a memorandum from the police chief. I would move to recommend that the Budget and Finance Committee accept under Mass General Law 4453A a state grant from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, State 911 Department of fiscal year 2025, State 911 Department Support and Incentive Grant Program for $102,983. The grant period is from September 17th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, and there is Again, no local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second.
Any other discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I,
Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. And then that brings us to our final item tonight, Kenny, which is the expenditures over authorization and any other related audit or business.
Yep, so, not much change since the last report. I think the last report, maybe you weren't able to hear me. Yeah, and so the last report, there was a significant increase, and that was because of union contracts that were settled. The GMAA contracts were settled, and that's something I've been discussing with Connor, so hopefully soon, when things kind of calm down a little bit, we'll be able to transfer. So it's been budgeted in the mayor's office. So you should be seeing SPTs in the near future to cover those contracts.
That's $150,000 in the mayor's budget for.
400,000.
Four.
100.
150.
Yeah, but I'm glad to hear that.
50?
One,
No, it's 400.
well, even last year, 24, quite a bit,
Okay,
because we had a bigger adjustment that
all
year.
right, I was looking at the wrong book then.
I don't have that in front of me. I had a couple notes on it. I wonder if
Do you need
this,
a copy?
if you don't mind, but I don't want to go,
I have the last 3, by the way.
where's the one from 2011? I just was impressed, the prior one with the grant money, you said we've been receiving it since 2011. It's just like, how do you have that in your head?
I have a file on it, all of them, yeah.
So, first of all, I understand there's timing, right? And I think you can always, I think pretty much every time we have a meeting, you could say it's a timing issue. It's probably true with accounting and planning, it's just, so that I understand is a thing, okay? I wondered if you took a snapshot at this moment and we said, okay, we're essentially $1 million, we've spent $1 million more than we planned. Is that the way to look at it? Or?
Not spent, but committed.
No, I mean, I think some of it as well is the encumbrances, and I think some of the encumbrances may not be accurate, and it's something that we're working out. I'm saying that nicely.
Yes.
Well, hang on, so the number on the right that says remaining budget is that actual minus encumbrance?
No, so the remaining amount is you have the original budget, and then you have the revised budget, because you could have transfers within your budget. And then you have the actual amount, and then you have encumbrances. And all encumbrances are is just saying, let's just assume the payroll from now until the end of the fiscal year reoccurs every 2 weeks, and it's the same amount. Because I've seen this in the past, like, and even in my department, where, I anticipate I'll be fully staffed, right? And then I have something, right, exactly, and I hope it is fully staffed, but there are times, I could have somebody that leaves my department, and then all of a sudden now I'm not in the red anymore, because sometimes it takes time, like I'll have lag funds in the account, and it has happened in my office, a few times, or a couple times. So, and that's as of a date, and again, the encumbrances, I just from my review of the encumbrances, I just don't feel like all of them are 100% accurate. I don't really have control of the encumbrances. It's something that comes from payroll. I've reviewed them. It's close, but I don't believe they're 100% accurate. So some of them, you're looking at the deficit, it's probably, that's worst case scenario. I think it's something less.
So, first, I believe you, because numbers keep, they do change, right? But if we're to say, okay, we're a little over $1 million, again, where's up behind? We're $1 million, I see basically a negative number. And we're 1 quarter into the year. Does that mean we're like on track for 4 million?
No, so that million is from now until the end of the fiscal year. So if June 30th was, tomorrow, like that's what we're looking at.
But
It's not each.
on the other side of the coin, we're not looking at the accounts that are in surplus.
Right.
We've only
Yep.
seen the deficit accounts on this.
Yes,
Right.
that's all in the deficit, not.
Okay, I always forget that we don't have that. Can we get that once a year or semi-annually or something?
Well, it's the budget, it's the budget.
Well,
Right, I mean, do you want that report quarterly? Like, I think that's what
I
we've
think
talked
we decide
about
quarterly.
in the past. I can do it quarterly. And so that would be, I could do that for the next report,
That'd be helpful.
if you'd like.
And then I see this, it looks like $500,000 again, I guess not behind, I gotta think of the right adverb, but, on interest on notes.
I think that needs to be corrected. That's something that Connor and I discussed. Obviously, we have to make our debt service payments. But I think maybe something came out of the incorrect account because there are, as Tony mentioned, you have money that is in a deficit, but you also have money that has money. So I think it's just in the wrong account. So either a budget transfer needs to be made or the expense needs to be reclassed by journal entry in my office. So I'm not really concerned about those, but I have to report it because I have to report anything that's overdrawn. But I think so some of these, yes, it's a true, probably will be a deficit. Some corrections need to be made. So it's not just one size fits all for every single one. So each one, it could be a simple correction.
And at the end of the year, none of them are gonna be in deficit.
You got it.
That's right. A lot of moving pieces.
And I can tell you, I can assure, we have covered everything, each year. We've always covered our deficit.
I just want
I
to
can
report
go-
I have.
I can say that to you, like fiscal year 10, from 10 until now, we've done that every year.
The sun will come up to me.
Yes.
No, maybe not. Could be cloudy.
Well, the sun comes up, right? This is again, it's, recording at least, it's, I'm just working on the report I have, right? I appreciate that it can't always be up to date and accurate. All right, I'm good. I did have two other questions that are on the agenda, but we've been talking about something, just, may I?
No, that's not on that's in public.
In regards to
Well, we're not
what?
making decisions on it, but we had asked about two questions. One was about when we could get the July, August, and probably September beach revenue numbers.
Tonight, we didn't ask that.
No, I'm just,
Wasn't on the agenda.
Well, it can be in the future. No.
yeah, we can talk about what we want on the agenda going forward.
And the other item?
Um,
The other item?
Well, I'd asked about if we knew if June 19th, Juneteenth was, we charged the holiday rate, and I just want to put that back on the million things you have to do if you could.
I believe we did. Yeah, I did ask that after the fact, and we did.
So as far as future information on
Can we get
beaches,
the beach revenues too?
Up to the point that they were available.
we got June numbers in August, I think. So I'm just saying we're October, maybe we have July and August, even though it's beginning of the fiscal year, still it's the end of the beach season, so hopefully we can have a way of understanding that. So is that, do you have the information at some point? You already have it? Did you get it after? I don't know how it gets to us.
I'll be honest with you, my focus has been fiscal year 24. I'm not even looking at 25 right now, unless it's on the expense side. On the revenue side, I figured that money just comes in, but my focus right now is to try to close fiscal year 24.
Yeah.
Because the auditors are coming, they've already contacting me. We have this, balance sheet, you heard today, tax recap, so those have been my
understand.
focus. I'm just saying, but on the 25, I'm just looking at expenditures right now, I'm not really looking at revenues yet.
We'll have that information in due course.
Connor, are we still in a period of, transition from John's form? Accounting to Connor,
We're making our way through it.
so I think that there's,
Oh, of course.
yeah.
I hope it doesn't sound as crazy. I like,
There's any pressure.
it's, not unless we're making changes on fees potentially, or that would inform us. I just want to know what the timeframe is, right?
You want to increase fees, go right ahead.
But I'd like some data, so, all right, we'll talk another time then about this.
I would accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all. Thanks, young person.
Thank you. Yeah, my son's been sick this week. In the last week, he's been sick. He has walking pneumonia. So,
Good.
yeah, so no football activities, and he's bummed out. The coach has been asking me, when is he coming back? Also to the flag football coach, that it's insane how much they want to know his progress and where is he at. So they want to know if he's gonna play.
They just want to know if they put him in reserve and have him off for 4 weeks, or if they hold a spot for him, right?
Yeah.
You two know football activities, but you still want to fantasy football team?
I think I've taken over.
Okay.
I've taken over that. We're 2-2.
Oh, that's good.
We won the first week and then we had a couple of bad
Sorry,
weeks.
that's your,
I think the first victory last week. It was a
I'm
big
gonna,
one,
I'm
but.
gonna hit end, the meeting adjourned.
yeah.
Any,
Losing Tyreek Hill